Welcome back to Prime Property. I'm Marissa Turner, and now we are on location with Prejean Computer Consultants and Edward Prejean to show you some really cool stuff. Now, here in your computer office, you don't just have computer repair and online backup, which is what everybody expects, and they have the best here, but they have some new things. Edward, tell us what we're standing by right here.
Well, I think we have one of the first 3D printers in Gonzales. This is the newest technology in printing, and it allows you to print objects from your computer.
Now, you might have heard about 3D printing in the news where there's medical 3D printers where they're trying to print human organs and things like that, and NASA's trying to print space food and all that. Now, this is more for a regular consumer, like somebody who's building a project or a model or something like that. Is that what this one is for?
Yeah, this is more for a hobbyist or an artist that wants to try to make their own objects. The hobby enthusiasts would use this to play around, basically.
Yeah.
You want to play with something, this is a good toy to play with.
Right, and the technology has come along far enough, as technology does, where somebody at home can afford something like this to play around with. And of course, there's several different kinds of models. This one is a larger one that can print something as large as a basketball, you said.
That's correct.
Okay, and what he's printing right now are his own chess pieces, his own chess set, and it's really cool. Tell him about the difference between subtractive printing and additive printing, because that's the whole idea with this, right?
Well, normally when most of your items are printed, the old technology, you would start off with a block of metal, a block of wood, and you would subtract parts of it to come out with the finished product.
Like a sculptor.
A sculptor, exactly. Take a block of concrete, you sculpt it down. That's the way printing is done with 3D printing before. Now, with the new additive printing, it actually takes the material and adds layers. It builds layers up and gives you a lot better control of what you're building, and you can build a lot more complicated objects at a cheaper price.
Right, because with the sculpting, you're not taking things out by hand. This is actually building it from the ground up, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Now, whenever you started with this, I saw you putting some glue on the base. How does it work? How does it go?
Well, in this model here, there's several different models. Some of them, the print head moves up and down and sideways. On this model, the plate moves up and down.
Okay.
So what you have to do when you first start printing, that you actually put glue on there so that when it prints a base,
it doesn't slide
around. It just sticks where it's located.
Okay.
Then after that, it starts printing. It'll take each layer. It'll add a little. In this case, what we use is plastic. It looks like weed eater string, basically. And it'll melt the string and make a layer. Then it'll let it cool, and then it'll come back and make the next layer. And it keeps building layer upon layer upon layer until you have the finished product.
Like, so if you want to build your own chess set, or we even said maybe models, or like of a house, or even if you're doing, like the Civil War models, or how people do with the miniaturists and everything else. So really cool technology. And you've got some other things here that you've been playing around with.
Yes, this was actually pretty interesting. It's a cube inside of a cube, and it's held together with structures on the inside, and this was built with a 3D printer, with this 3D printer, basically. You can also print little toys. This, you can't really tell there, but this is a little pirate ship.
That's cool.
The white that you might see on here is the structure support, so that when it prints, it can hold things in a solid
And you would just pop that out, right?
And you just take that out, yes.
Now, the really interesting part of this as well is the software that goes with it to design these kinds of things, and that would be very helpful for somebody studying 3D models and architecture and all those kinds of things as well.
That's correct. And what you're going to see now, this used to be used by engineers, architects. Their 3D printers back then were as big as a house. I mean, not a house, but a refrigerator. And you were allowed to make these 3D printers, and engineer or an architect would make a 3D model using AutoCAD, which takes a while to learn in itself.
Absolutely.
And then you would have to take it and you would build your model of, let's say, an office building, so that you could bring and show your client. Well, now the prices have dropped tremendously on these things, so where now a local architect can take it, build his 3D model of a home, send it to the printer, and build a small replica of the house that you're designing. and you can see how it looks before you ever build a house.
But now the software has become a lot more user-friendly, right?
Yes, now they have made the software to just about anybody can use it. It's very, very intuitive, and it doesn't take much training at all before you can actually start making things with it.
Yeah.
I think you're going to start seeing this as Christmas gets closer. You're going to start seeing more promotion for this as the prices come down. And we're trying to stay on the leading edge of technology here. If you'd like to come down and just look and see how a 3D printer works, you're more than welcome to come in. We'll have something printing most of the time, so that you can actually watch it print.
Wow, that's really cool. So if you've got that student in architecture or whatever that's saying, Mom, you know what I want for Christmas? You can come over here and you can check it out and find out more about the software and everything else. Like I said, information's here at the bottom of the screen. Edward, thank you so much for showing us this today. This is really cool.